if I can find it.
Daddy, tell me a story.
Oh, there's old Bobby right there. Call me daddy. Get me back in. Look, patreon.com/wise_in_nerdy. You can pay me $1 and call me daddy all you want. I'll take it. All right. So we put down, it's not necessarily work woes, but I'm definitely in a Monopoly Cup holding scotch drinking kind of place tonight. Bourbon. But look, it's too long of a story to really give all the details, but long story as short as I can make it, about 1.5 to 2 years ago, we decided to get into the advanced life support game. So that means you have to have a paramedic, you have to have a bunch of extra stuff, a truck, an ALS, advanced life support, an ALS truck, on average costs about $1.2 million a year to run. That's without the people. That's just the truck, the equipment, the insurance, all that stuff. So it's an expensive game to get into. Plus the payroll is you have to have a paramedic and an EMT and all this other stuff. So, little side note, random kid says, break out the tequila and drink till you reach the worm. There's a great tequila joke on the Chattacon recording that we made. So I think you'll appreciate that when we drop the podcast. But I was resistant to it. And long story short is, even though everything I tend to do, when it's the right thing, everything I tend to do, resistant or not, becomes successful. And it did. It became successful. We went from an on-call program to a 12-hour program to a 24-hour program to 2 trucks trying to serve 2 different hospitals. But I didn't want to do it. So I put somebody in charge and I managed them and tried to coach them and bring them up. But I didn't put my eyes inside of the whole process and didn't know exactly where everything was going, everything was doing. And by July, well, really June of last year, it was tanking. It was tanking hard. And by tanking hard, I mean, we were losing $75,000 a month on these trucks.
Ooh.
And it is a lot of money no matter how you cut it. Now I have a fairly sizable company now. Not to brag, but we brought in about 12 million in receivables this year. And we've grown. We've taken over 2 companies in the last 2 years. We're doing well. But we were losing a decent amount of money on this thing. And so that's when I mostly picked up the ball and had somebody else and underneath me. They're my executioner, if you will. Like I said, this is what we're going to do, go do it. And they would do it. And I wasn't fully hands-on, wasn't fully making sure it worked to then hand it off. And in this last week, the universe, God, however you want to look at it, I try to be very inclusive on, not there's a whole long story, and Joe knows it. I mean, we spent multiple 14-hour rides in cars talking about life and religion and all this other stuff. So when I tell a story, I try to make sure you understand that there's a whole deep, huge, long conversation about religion versus faith. So I will always and forever say God, universe, or whatever you think about. That's just how I want to present my story. This person that I trusted, who really wanted to do things well, made a really bad decision in a moment that it counted. And my leaders lead from the front, and I could not let it stand. You cannot. And the thing is, we are the most strict ambulance company in the state of Georgia on driving. We will not tolerate distracted driving at all. No holding devices. No taking your hands off the wheel for any reason. And we've had people try to take medication. Nope. You're penalized. We literally had a dummy with a cup of ice cream take his hands off the wheel and bring his ice cream up to his chest, was eating while doing 68 miles down that road. Not going to happen. Yeah, Joe, you know inside stories that we're not sharing right now. We can share those later. You can say, Daddy, tell me a story about shenanigans, and I'll tell you a story, but that's not now. And my manager, director in training, in a moment of just don't know why, don't know how, grabbed a phone when it was ringing while she was driving. And the camera even gives you, I didn't realize this, but nothing's instant. And the AI in the camera, because I have to go pull the video and this and that. So it gives me a 10-second thing. Well, when I always put it's a 1-minute video is what I pull it first. So I put the red dot of the 10 seconds right in the middle. So it's roughly 30 seconds before, almost 30 seconds after. I didn't realize it gave you about 30 seconds before it dings you. because when I did the 30 seconds before is when the phone started ringing. And she picked it up, went from one hand to the other, trying, you're panicking a little bit, not even thinking, just reacting. All the way took two hands off to open it. And about the time she had it in her hand to put it on speaker and put it down, it went, push your device down. And she knew. She knew right then and there it was over. It was and what she had done.
That's when she knew she messed up.
Oh, Mr. Meme. Mr. Meme. Um, and it breaks my heart. It was very frustrating, but I understand for whatever reason it happened. So the no tolerance policy, it very much is you lose money for the day and you get made a permanent technician. You will not drive for this company. That's how hard we take it. You will not drive for this company. She works in the ALS division, which means you have to be a paramedic to tech. She's not a paramedic. So I could not even have her in that division anymore. But I mean, she got demoted immediately. I mean, you can't be my leader and do that, period. And it's been rough this week because it happened Sunday. It's been rough this week, but I've been hands on the steering wheel, all whatever metaphor you want to go sports. I've been the coach in the game. I've been on everything now because I've gotten past all my resistance and know we're going to make this work. And every time I've done that. So this past year I had a manager leave in a different division and found just hot fires and rat droppings and hoarder stashes, not literally but metaphysically, where he was hiding stuff and not doing his job, and got in, fixed it, and we're going well. Had the ALS director gone, and I started making haircuts, made it better. Starting July, we started making a profit. So June, we're losing $75,000 a month. Starting July, we actually lost about 16,000. August, I lost about 2,000, and then started making a profit. So I mean, my fixes fixed it, right? We signed a deal that we're going to put out a press release with a hospital that's never been done before in the state of Georgia, and that's how much we turned around. But I'm in the game, and what I'm frustrated with now is that happened Sunday. Monday, like, I got to take it all on. I'm getting some help with some things with people I trust, but I'm not letting go. This is mine. I'm going to run this. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And the frustrating part, the thing I'm in the frustrations about now, and John will toss you a question, and you can, and I'll come back to my story, right? Do you ever feel like you're in the wrong universe? Like all of a sudden, things are not clicking that should be clicking. And in my case, it's people are not hearing me, literally.
Yeah, like you're almost like one step out of sync with what's going on with reality.
Yeah. And now that's a whole nother conversation about, sometimes I do believe that we slide realities and we slide universes, but that's, another night for some more scotch. But no, I mean, I'm like, I'm in the wrong universe right now. Something has shifted because this week I'll literally be saying something to somebody, and I said, hey, you reported a conversation. And that really helped people. This one young lady that works for me, she's twice reported conversations with two different people that changed their lives. Like these were bad conversations. They were red flags of something's wrong in my life. She trusted her instincts, came to us and said, hey, this person's talking this way. And both times we were able to intervene with that person and help them become better human beings. And it's not, one of them would definitively save their life and turn it around because they were really on that edge. The other person, it just really helped stabilize their life. And so I was telling her, hey, you did good. You reported. All three people standing there heard me say something recorded or something. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, context. Are you not listening to all the words coming out of my mouth? I do know that I mumble sometimes, and especially if I keep talking past.
They just tune you out.
But they're looking me in the eyeballs for 3 seconds, dude. And that's been happening all this week. That my wife's not hearing me right. My kid. I'm like, I can understand that sometimes I mumble and sometimes I you're behind me. I'm talking over here quietly. But when I'm looking you face to face and I clearly say, Joe, roll that dice. And you're like, why do you want more ice? I'm like, what is so that's been going on, but I've been fighting at Lost Slightly. What was that? I wasn't listening. Oh, that was not the one I'm going to click on. Yeah, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Yeah, that's a good reference there.
What was
Rush
that?
Hour.
I wasn't listening.
Thank you, Joe. So I say all that to get to Monday. I put my hands on the ball, right? Today is Thursday. So Tuesday, Monday, I had a lot of things to do. I was meeting with a doctor. We're getting a new doctor to do man medical control, and that's going well. So I met with him on Monday. Then I had to go meet with somebody else and have a better meeting, blah, blah, blah. Then Tuesday was really my first big work day, and I was getting things cleaned up and right and getting this guy on the schedule. And he went, "Hey, we don't have somebody." Or the message was somebody needs to come in early for this medic, and it should be this person. So I called that person, whatever got away from me on Tuesday and Wednesday morning or Tuesday night. I texted that person. They're like, "Yeah, no, I'm not working that day. I'm out of town." I went, "Huh." And so the next morning I came in, looked at it with my scheduling guy, and he was like, "Hey, we don't have a medic for that day." I'm like, "That's tomorrow. What are you talking about?" So I started calling the medic on, and he's like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah." Had nothing. Had nobody. So last night, like
Uh-oh.
I'm in panic mode because like we cannot. I mean, it's a real. Let me just say, we can. You can do anything, but we to shut this truck down for 24 hours plus would be very detrimental to
Yeah,
everything we've built. It'd
that'll
be
be thousands of
detrimental.
dollars lost.
Not just that, yes, but that's not even the biggest concern. It's very detrimental to the progress we've made with this hospital. We just signed this deal with them, and it's not a
Yeah,
huge deal. It's not.
trust loss,
That's
and
it.
yeah,
The trust, the brand, the possible harm to the patients not getting to where they need to be. Because we go from one hospital to another, and it's a hospital that can stabilize them and get them to better help somewhere else. And we're that transport. And we're the only ones out there. Nobody else is coming. And it's the whole thing. So it'd be just super detrimental. And so the hospitals call me and they're a little bit of a honest, understood panic. I'm going, I've tried and I'm throwing money at it. And I've called my medic. I said, "Look, dude, you can name your price," which is a really bad place to be. But we're here. We're this close. I'll finish down the story. But we're name your price. You can go do your doctor's appointment in the morning. And it wasn't like he knew the doctor's appointment was coming. He's just been recently diagnosed with diabetes. And so it's been this up and down. We'll get you in when we can, try to get it right, test things out. At least that's how I feel like it was. Because if I find out he knew it was coming and he didn't tell me, bad days are coming.
yep.
But I was like, okay, you can definitely make sure you're off by 7 a.m. Go to your 8 o'clock appointment. I need you back as soon as you can, no later than noon. You name your price. He goes, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll make it happen. Well, he showed up at noon, which I know he could have been there earlier and he didn't, but he showed up at noon. And at 5:45 tonight, I get a call from his partner going, "Hey, I just found out that he's leaving at 9." And my instant thing was like, "What? No, 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 what?" And he was saying like, "Wait, yeah." I'm like, "No." And I had a very hard conversation, a very calm conversation, but very straightforward conversation about communication. And this is what I said there. And this is where I'm in this interesting spot. Now, in the past, I'd have raged out, I'd have yelled, I'd have ruined my whole. I would have called Joe, said, "We're not doing the show tonight." I would have just stewed in it. I've definitely grown through my coaching and learned how to deal with these things. And I'm just shifting gears and doing everything I can. But I hard talk with him. It's like, you chose to panic. He's like, "Well, you terminated and hired us in the same day." It's like, I know. I know you think I didn't want to rage against the ambulance. I was like, these distractions are fun. Rage against the ambulance. That's a great cover band there. Um, and I was like, yeah, I did have to go because the hospital was not coming to the table. We were going to shut the division down because while we were starting to turn a profit, we were not going. I'm not talking about. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but I'm talking about $7,000 to $10,000 a month profit. When we were digging out an almost $2 million debt, that's a really tiny shovel, right? We need to get some help with that. We need to have some firmer ground to stand on. We need to have a way to move forward. So we needed the hospital to come to the table with us, and they weren't. So 2 days before the contract was supposed to end, the agreement was supposed to end, I went to my medics, called a meeting, and ripped the band-aid and said, "I'm so sorry." And I've been honest and open about everything. If you've learned anything about the show, I will be honest to a fault, and I'll tell you as much as I can about what's going on. And I did. I have to say, you know what? The medics are me terminated. You will have 2 weeks, 80 hours of straight pay. Being paramedics anywhere in this world, you can get a job pretty much instantly. and I'm sorry and thank you. And we had some talks and everybody understood, but it was a heavy day. 3 hours later, the hospital calls back in a panic because we'd sent an email saying, hey, we're shutting it down at midnight on this day because we just can't anymore. They call back. Now, keep in mind, it's not the hospital, it's the higher ups, it's the corporate entity, whatever. They said, okay, we'll come to the table. So I ended up, I had a moment with my partner. I was like, are you effing kidding me? You made me go and do this hard thing. That was the right thing to do, but the hard thing to do. And now you want to come to the table. So I turned around and called. It's, by the way, it's only at the time it's 4 paramedics for a 24-hour truck for 7 days a week. That's not enough paramedics. And I went back to them and said, hey, I'm sorry. I know it's a yo-yo, but please give me till tomorrow to get to this meeting and then let you know what's happening. And everybody said, yes, okay, including this guy that I'm talking about. And I woke him up like he'd gotten off shift and gone home. So he'd only gone home to sleep, right? He had woke him up to tell him, okay, cool. So the next morning we did a meeting, did everything, and then I immediately called the director of training who ended up messing up the Sunday. But I called her and said, hey, this is where we are. We are going to be solid till January 6th. That was about a month. We're going to be solid till January 6th. We're going to be working out the details of this contract. We're going to figure it out. We'll be very clear. And again, it's just booting it down the road. If for some reason we don't sign that deal, they will still have the 2-week parachute, which I'm telling you, what I pay my paramedics $30 an hour for a 24-hour ride. So you just do 30 times 80, just straight hours is what their severance pay was going to be, and one lump sum. Plus, they could get a job tomorrow. That's what they're going to walk away with. And I've been trustworthy this whole time. I've been taking us through the storm. My job is to find the unknown and defeat it and bring us through the other side. Just follow me. And this guy's been with me for over a year now, for almost a year and a half. He panicked. He went and got another job. Didn't come talk to me, even though I've come to talk to him about everything. Didn't say anything to me. And I found out through somebody else that he got that job. And I was like, and this is right before Christmas. And then I had to fire a medic because there's a thing called HIPAA, HIPAA.
Mm-hmm.
And he violated that. I won't digress into that.
That's a huge no-no in the medical field.
Huge. It is. And yeah. And so 3 or 4 days before Christmas, I had to fire him, which left me with 3 paramedics, 2 which being part-time, and now my 1 full-time guy is working a second job and has diabetes. Brand new. So it's fluctuating. So we get to yesterday. Name your price. I'll make it happen. Thank you. And then today I find out that Sunday's not covered. So, okay, we're working on that. And in the meantime, I've been hiring paramedics, but that takes a minute. Third rides is when you go get on the truck is not one of the 2 main people, but the person to learn. So, and all new hires, we have to do that. So I've got a paramedic third riding on Saturday. I've got another new paramedic who's going to be full-time riding on Tuesday. I got another new paramedic who's going to be full-time coming into my office on Monday to do orientation and then get his third ride set up. I've had 2 more moving in from out of state. And when they get here, they're going to do orientation. So I've got things in process. We're inches. I go to any given Sunday. Life's a game of inches. We are inches away from scoring this last touchdown and winning the game. And we will never go back from that. We're going to keep moving forward. And I get a call at 5:00 tonight, a little after 5, going, oh, I'm supposed to go home tonight. I thought we were on the same page. Like, what part of the same page are we? That you said you're going to make it happen. You didn't say you had to be at work at your other job the next day. Why did you take that out? And he talked about his fear to something like, you should have come to me, period. And I'm just telling this for anybody listening. I'm venting a little bit, but the truth is I have come to you with everything and you're not coming to me with anything. Then he happened to bring up in the same conversation, when we hired these medics, I'm on the chopping block. I'm like, I did cuss a little bit, which is, I try to refrain from that, especially in strong, hard conversations like this. But I'm like, why the F would you put that on my radar? I'm trying to get past Sunday. I am bonusing you. I am showing gratitude. Who else is going to do this for you? Who else is going to put up with the crap you've pulled on me in this last year? Much less this last week, and not fire you.
Oh, man.
But bonus you to say thank you because I am grateful. And I am understanding that you are doing extra for me. But you're worried about getting fired. How about you shut up and talk to me about Sunday? Well, I have to talk to my wife because that's going to put me on 6 days. Like, dude, I didn't say dude. I said his name. I'm going to say his name here. Dude, you've got to understand. This is one way everybody to learn from this. First off, people will tell you who they are. And he's consistently shown, I always call it tip of the nose. Somebody who can't see past the tip of their nose, is afraid of everything, will not be going to the promised land because they can't trust me. Because at the end of the day, Joe, I think you've been with me through this, maybe in Dragon Con, maybe through some of the show changes we made, maybe some of the stuff we did, maybe you haven't. But where you can't see quite where we're going and it's a little scary, but you see that I can see it. And you have to, sometimes you just have to trust the person you're with. And I've proven him to be trustworthy over and over again, and he refuses to trust me. Well, maybe I insinuated that I'm a prophet. Maybe. Really, I'm just telling the story. You inferred, random kid. You inferred I'm a prophet. There's a difference. So you have to trust. Now, that wasn't a prophet, by the way. The promised land was spies. It's the 12 spies. 2 came back, said, yeah, this is our land. Yeah. That I'll equate myself to that all day long. Me and my partner, that's who we are in EMS. Everybody else sees giants and they run. We go. Period. That's how we operate. But you have to trust me if you don't know what's coming. You have to trust me. If you can't trust me, you can't. You won't last here because you will fear yourself out of this. You'll jump overboard and just take your chances with the sharks. That's your choice. Choices have consequences. So I talked about all this. Talked about, and I was like, you got to understand inches. We get through Sunday. I have medics coming in. I have medics onboarding. They will be ready by the next Sunday. This is not there's plenty of corporations. Maybe all of you are triggering thought processes of work that you've gone through where you go, I thought I saw the writing on the wall, but they said, oh no, it's fine. And it wasn't fine. This is not that. This has been, hey, there's no writing on the wall. I'm telling you, the ship is sinking and I'm bailing water as fast as I can. And then, hey, to keep the ship from fully sinking, we're going to scuttle this ship and move some people over to the other ship. That was going and saying they're terminated, right? Oh, hey, no, guess what? All of a sudden we got some iron plating on the ship. This hospital stepped up. We're good. So now we can bring on more crew. And now we're gonna be sailing. Whatever metaphor you want to use. I've been very, very clear. There's no surprises. There's no, oh, that just happened. And you've got to understand everything is now. That's what you have to understand. You go to EMT school and it can be tough and everybody has to work. But I have taught EMT school stuff. Hey, I do sail an iron ship, baby. I like random kid. Random kid gets me. Cheers, random kid. You get me, baby. I'm gonna shorten it up here. I'm gonna end it up here, but you go to EMT school. And I've taught so many EMT classes, and the thing I always tell everybody who's starting, they're wide-eyed, they're absorbing all the orientation. Like, look, you're gonna blink and you're gonna turn around, and it's time to test and graduate and get your numbers and become an EMT. I'm telling you, I've been through it. I know this is 8 months, probably. It seems like so long. It's not long. So when you sacrifice that time with your family, know it's just right now because you have a deadline. You know there's a day. If it's an unknown, if it's a economical drought, if it's I can't find work and I don't know what to do, that's a true unknown that you've got to figure out how to fix. And you just got to figure that out. But this is a known. This is in 8 months. Either you're done or you're failed out. But hopefully you're just done. And sure enough, every time we got to that test, there's a big test at the end, or we're all in the same room. They're doing this hands-on test to show that they know what they're doing as EMTs. And every night I went, hey, you remember we just did orientation last night? And it just clicks with them that time. That's what, oh yeah. It just flew by. You're just taking it moment by moment by moment. So yeah, dude, I'm asking you to understand that we're getting through Sunday. This hasn't been happening over and over again. And we all agree we had to let go of the one medic because if we didn't let go of this medic, that was bad juju. You can't violate. I mean, he was doing other things. I mean, if you're going to violate HIPAA, and we already knew he's doing other things. And he said he had to think about it. And I'm like, and Joe, I called everybody I knew tonight. Everybody. My friends who are retired paramedics, my friends who own their own companies and have some paramedics. I even called the county service there that serves 911 in this where this hospital is and said this. I will pay $40 an hour to anybody who'll work tonight for 12 hours. Cash. No taxes, no reporting. I'll write you a straight check. 40 times 12. I didn't even do the math, but that's over $400.
480.
There you go. Cash. No responses. And I get it. It was because he put me in a spot. I had less than 3 hours to try to find somebody. Now I have a few days for Sunday, and I have a lot of irons there trying to figure that out, and I'm going to figure that out. But yeah, walk away with two things. Understand that whatever you're dealing with, find the now in it. I went through bankruptcy. I lost my house, and I still had to find the now. Sometimes it's moment by moment, sometimes it's day by day. But you find what the now is so you can find the next step to tomorrow. Second thing is choices have consequences. You choose to step up, you choose to lean in, you choose to go to Chattacon with me, you get good consequences. You get great dinners and have a great time and get to do what you love, right? You choose to bring up, am I on the chopping block when I'm literally asking you to help and I'm paying you what I can? And I can't, I mean, I shouldn't pay that. It's not like, oh, we're bucks up and I can just afford it and burn money, but I understand that I'm asking a lot and I pay for what I ask for. And instead of going, let me get past this day with you, and here's my number. And my number that I gave him today was higher than his number, but he wasn't clear. I'm not saying if you listen to this dude and you know this is your story, I'm not saying you're on a chopping block. I am saying you keep making choices out of fear and taking you away. I'm going to get somebody who makes choices to step with me and move forward. Joe, and no uncertain terms, we came together in a rough manner. And but every step of the way, we leaned in. We decided how we're going to work together, how we're going to do this, and love Ibbot, miss Ibbot, but we became stronger together when Ibbot left because we chose that path. We could easily drifted apart. We could easily shut things down. And that's what everybody can take away. You need more people in your life that will say, "Show me the money." But people will tell you who they are. You just have to listen. And I not just tell you who I am with my actions, because that's what they'll do. They'll tell you with your actions. They'll tell you with little responses. They'll tell you with energy. I also tell you with my words. And that's just kind of where I am. It's not really, and I know you didn't know where it's going, so you put down work clothes. It really is a celebration, though. I won't make it through. I've been working with the hospital. I've been talking with them. I've got a lot of great things coming down the pipe. A lot. I'm always going to make it through. I'm always going to be that spy who goes to the promised land. So much like the beginning of Jerry Maguire's, who's coming with me? Who's coming with me?